According to the most recent Publicis Asia survey, 79% of Filipinos see China as the biggest threat to their country and support President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s stance of standing up to the Asian giant in the South China Sea. According to the PAHAYA 2023 first quarter study, the majority of Filipinos trust Japan, ASEAN member states, Canada, South Korea, Australia, and the United States, while harboring mistrust for China and Russia. 1,500 people participated in the study between March 2nd and March 6th, and it revealed that 55% of them trusted Japan, with ASEAN and Canada coming in second and third at 45% and 44%, respectively. Surprisingly, South Korea, 39%, Australia, 39%, and the US, 39%, share comparable levels of trust, according to Publicis. Nonetheless, it noted that concerns are comparable to sentiments toward the UK, 34%, and the European Union, and slightly more pronounced in relation to the US, 30%. In contrast, the survey found that only 9% of respondents had confidence in China and 14% in Russia. According to Publicis, the majority of people think that China is the biggest threat to the Philippines, which accounts for the 79% suspicion of China. According to the survey, 6 in 10 Filipinos support the president's position and diplomatic tactics in the West Philippine Sea conflict. This backing includes not caving into China, pursuing diplomatic solutions to territorial disputes, and strengthening bilateral collaboration between the Philippines and China, according to Publicis. From the first quarter of this year, we have been observing how Filipino voters view other nations and international organizations. We can assume that voters' opinions of these organizations, particularly the United States, China, and Russia, fluctuate, said PAHAYA project lead Eric Estrabo. China and the Philippines are at odds over the South China Sea. Beijing claims what it refers to as historic rights for around 80% of the canal. In order to prevent miscalculations and miscommunications in the disputed waters, Marcos encouraged Chinese President Xi Jinping to establish direct communication channels with Beijing when he met with him in Beijing in January. Chinese ships continue to assert their ownership over some areas of Filipino waters notwithstanding this diplomatic courtesy, and they lately engaged in hostile behavior toward Philippine ships. On August 5, Chinese Coast Guard, Navy, and maritime militia ships obstructed Philippine ships carrying supplies to military personnel stationed on BRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal and fired a water cannon at them. In order to act as the nation's military outpost in the West Philippine Sea, the Sierra Madre was purposefully grounded near Ayungin in 1999. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs claimed in a statement that although Manila promised to evacuate the warship, nothing has been done to fulfill that promise. Beijing asserted that the Philippines desired to seize Ayungin Shoal on an ongoing basis. According to Marcos, the Philippines and China have no agreement in place for the removal of the Sierra Madre from Ayungin Shoal, and if such a contract were to exist, he would revoke it right once.